Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Turn the Page.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Go into the kitchen.
The super sassy Sasquatch believes in you, Scarlet. You can do it, Scarlet. It was sexy till that happened, right? And welcome back to another thrilling, exciting, bombastic episode of Turn the Page. That's right, it's your one-stop source for all things comic books, movies, and nerdiness. We have people who know so much stuff about Doctor Who, and on the other hand, we have a lot of people that know a lot of stuff about what's coming out as far as action figures. We're going to take those people, we're going to mash them together and see if they can make any coherent sense about things that you want to listen to for the next hour of your life. Wait and see what happens. Now, first, I'm going to start off with my adorable sidekick, Ronnie Shinks, and see what he has to say about any news coming out in the world of comic books, action figures, and video games.
Well, video games, I had a chance to try out the Final Fantasy VII remake.
No way. They're doing, what, is that out now?
They have a demo.
So, like a beta test.
Yeah, essentially, and
Like
I made the mistake of playing it.
Preview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made a mistake.
It's like instead of a
made the
trailer
mistake of
for a
playing it.
movie, you get like a trailer
Yeah,
for a
that's-
video.
that's
What do you
better
mean?
than
It's like
that.
it's different than it was originally?
No,
Did you play the original?
I never played the original, but I made the mistake of playing it because now I'm pre-ordering the deluxe edition Sunday.
Yeah, Final
Steelbook.
Fantasy VII is the only Final Fantasy.
Dude, the remake is so freaking good.
Like, all you have to do with Final Fantasy VII to make it better is fix the graphics.
That's
That's
what they
it.
did. Yeah,
That's
I don't
all
think
you
they
have to
changed
do.
very much of anything.
And what's cool is like you can play like classic or normal mode, like classic mode, like where it plays like the original 7,
Mhm.
or you can do it like how it plays like Final Fantasy 15. How it's
I
like
never played
action-based.
that far. Sorry.
Well, what it is, it's
I mean, I believe you. I just
action RPG.
never went that far.
and that was the one that I played. And it was a really interesting learning curve, and like you had like different. I mean, it's just the combat was in depth. It was really
See,
good.
like for me, it was Final Fantasy VII. I played it all the way. Everybody in the Peanut Gallery agrees. Chuck is so happy, he sounds like a giddy small child. Chuck, calm down, please. Peanut Gallery is going nuts. But no, Final Fantasy VII I played like nonstop. I had to, loved the story, loved renaming everything to whatever I wanted it to be, and just moved forward from there. But 8, horrible. 9, who cares? Danny played 10. I
played
watched
10.
him do it.
Oh,
And
10
it was
so fun.
okay until the kid disappeared forever. That was really sad. And then 10-2, imagine if Barbies were in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I played a little
And,
bit of 10 too.
Yeah, that was horrible. Like,
10
dress up your characters. That's all it was.
10 was my Final Fantasy. I never played any others except vicariously through others. I had a friend that was big into it and raved about 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 7
I
was good.
played 4,
I
5,
only
and
played
6 all
10.
the way through.
Yeah.
Didn't play 7 all the way through. Never got a chance to play 8 or 9. Played 10 all the way through. I haven't played 15 yet, but I do own it.
I played 10 straight through. I don't think I did any real leveling up except for once when I met the dragon that turned me to stone.
What was that guy? Wasn't that the one? What was the one that recently came out? The girl's name was Lightning, and the
Final Fantasy
guy
13.
was that 13. The guy had the chocobo that was stuck in his
Yeah.
afro. Okay,
That was 13.
There is one.
That was on 360 and PS3.
There's
That
another
was
Final
okay.
Fantasy that I did play.
I saw it played.
And I adore, but I never beat it. It's called Final Fantasy Tactics. It was on the PlayStation.
Yes.
And there's you can get it
And it
on
was remade.
iOS or Android now.
And it was also remade on the DS as
Yeah,
well.
it's been remade so many times, and it's deserving of
Tactics
it. It's
8 was on
fantastic.
PSP.
So, what we're looking at here? What's the release date? Am I going to be
It's in
able to
April.
play it before
Yes.
the coronavirus kills me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in April.
All right, good.
Oh, you're a
And-
young, strapping man.
I'm at least strapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just might kill people you know. That's all.
Oh well, so I'll be playing the game to get over the grief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It also actually maybe might keep the game from coming out. Delays.
I highly doubt that it's already gone gold.
Is it already like finished development?
Yeah.
That's good. 'Cause lots
It's
of
already
things
gone
of
gold.
like, especially like stuff coming out of Japan, is probably going to be delayed a little bit.
Well, at least getting it shipped here.
Well, no, like development. If it's not finished being developed,
I don't know. I heard they said there was a person that worked at Amazon got sick.
well, people like
In
have started
Seattle.
to like close up.
Right, so don't get coffee.
Actually, there's
Starbucks
someone,
down the drain.
someone in Tennessee.
Someone sick in Seattle. Someone in Tennessee got tested. That's just.
No, I
not
thought
the
they
same.
tested
Nope.
positive.
No, they just got tested.
Hmm.
That was clickbait, but it was
that
good.
doesn't actually make any sense.
Now,
But
as far as anything else in the actual works, I know that a whole bunch of action figures were coming out because of the toy fair.
yeah,
I know that Marvel Legends is blowing things out of the water as far as they're
Yes.
concerned. And I know we talked about that a bunch. Some movies that are coming out this summer, I really can't think of any that are just going to be like blowing my mind anytime soon.
Wonder Woman
I know the Black,
1984.
well, we got Wonder Woman 84 and then
yeah,
Black Widow.
I heard
Black
that
Widow, Ghostbusters.
Iron Man's going to be in it. Well, a
I
cameo.
have heard that he
I heard a
cameos.
cameo that it'll probably be the last time we see Robert Downey in a Marvel movie.
They
probably.
keep saying that.
They keep saying that.
it. Well,
Robert Downey said that he's down to come back if, one, Pepper Potts is more predominantly featured. He might have only said that because he knows that won't ever happen. They pay him a
Exuberant amount of money.
exuberant amount of money that they're not willing to pay, at least yet. We'll just have to see how Phase 4 goes, and they might change their mind. And maybe,
Yeah, they might have him come back.
yeah.
But
Who knows?
also, McFarlane is doing a Kickstarter for the
I heard
Spawn
about that.
figures. Did you hear about that?
I heard about
I
it.
have not heard about this.
What it is, he's modernizing and retooling all the original Spawn figures from Series 1. To be
So
doing a Kickstarter.
not a new mold, but just new assembly.
No, new mold. New mold and everything.
But
He's
all the
updating.
characters over again.
Yeah.
So Spawn,
Medieval Spawn,
Like the base,
Violator,
not
ripped up
some-
Spawn.
Overkill, stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, I could be really into that. I mean, I loved Spawn.
It's like I watched his video explaining the Kickstarter. He's like, yeah, it's like I can make, it's like, see Overkill? It's like, man, I can do so much better now.
Yeah, technology's
So
come
much
a long
better.
way. It's come a long way.
He's like,
But I
look
mean,
at
those
this crap.
characters were
That's what
really
he
cool.
said.
It wasn't even that bad though. Like
I
back
know.
then, the designs, the fact that he was overloading us with guns and knives and
Detailed
things they could
sculpting.
hold, detailed
Mhm.
sculpting. I mean, it was one of those things where it was like McFarlane Toys was the top. It was the best that you wanted, and then collectors' bases started watching what was going on with him and how much he was selling on stuff we couldn't even necessarily read all the time.
And
Like
I
we didn't
definitely-
even get, like some of the stuff didn't even come out in the comic book, but he said, "Oh, it's Samurai Spawn." You're like, "Screw it, it's mine
yeah.
now."
And he branched
I
out
love
into
that one.
like
But-
sports and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, he had the sports
Yeah,
figures, the
yeah.
MLB figures, NFL, NHL. He was big into the hockey fanship.
I mean, to get
obviously.
collectors, like, there are people like, I get the whole team,
I remember when he had enough money at a certain time that he bought that home run ball,
Oh, yeah.
the Mark McGuire home run ball, for like
It was like $1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Like
The Medieval
ridiculous.
Spawn, though, I want them to remake that really bad.
I like
One-
the original Medieval Spawn, but see, when I was a kid, I had gotten around.
That was my favorite.
It was like Medieval Spawn number 2 or 3, and he had this
Mhm.
gigantic battle axe. He was zombified. He had a helmet that could pop on and off.
Mhm.
I mean, it was so much cooler in my opinion. I had a lot of the Medieval Spawns, but
I have one in package still.
really, no, I never left anything in package.
Well, it was my brother's, and he sent it to me.
Unless somebody
He
said,
kept it in package.
if
Now
somebody
it's still
told
in
me
package.
they were like, "Hey, make sure you don't open this. Keep it safe. Keep it secret forever," I'd be like, "Okay, cool."
I think you did.
I
made the right
melt the
decision.
glue off of it, open it, play with it,
Get
put
a
it back. and
heat
then-
gun or
Yeah,
like a hair dryer.
like put it back.
Yeah.
I mean, play with what you like, dude. I
Kind
mean,
of like what
if
I
it-
did with the
get some
Superman
enjoyment.
black bag.
That'd be like
Oh.
if you had the hottest girlfriend in the world and she was like, "Yeah, I'll love you forever," and then you just never touched her.
Some bad news, though. Speaking of the coronavirus affecting things, It's already affected Hasbro. The Baby Yoda stuff has been pushed back and delayed.
Because Baby Yoda's only come from Japan?
It's because it's coming from China.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Hasbro has a lot of factories in China, so does Mattel and a bunch of other people.
Hopefully this means that we'll have to open up some factories elsewhere and actually obey some work labor laws and improve some things. Because the amount of pollution that's come out of China over the world the past few weeks has actually been reduced. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
not to shine a positive light on a negative subject,
But
maybe it's not so bad.
one other thing too,
No, it's bad.
the production
bad.
or the release date of the next James Bond movie has been pushed back to November due to the virus as well.
What is this? What's happened to Daniel Craig?
Oh, nothing's happened to Daniel Craig or the team. It's just
Were
They
they
don't
shooting
wanna-
on location somewhere?
they don't want to release it right now with the virus going on. And
Maybe
stuff
it was
like
something was
China's a
in the
really
movie.
big market.
It's a big market. Chinese releases, like a lot of movies, like hinge on like having a good Chinese release. There's a lot of people. With
MGM
a lot of,
and Sony
movie-going
really-
audience.
So even though they spend a little bit of money, there's billions of them. So
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean,
even if everybody spent $1 to see a movie in China, that's $1 billion.
China is actually like a booming economy. Like their GDP is higher than ours. Their growth percentage is higher than ours by almost double, I think. It might have gone down.
Yeah, but
in
what
the
about all
last
the
few
people
years.
that don't get paid any money? Did they get to see the movie too?
I mean, they have cities in
Yar,
China. It's a normal
like pirates.
place.
I know. They also have cities that are completely empty because nobody can afford to live there.
There's some places like that.
Ghost towns, just completely, because there's only so much middle class in China. And
Yeah.
then there's like this huge working class that can't afford anything.
Just like here.
No, we still. I mean, look at us. We're the working class, and we can
But-
afford all of this.
Indeed.
Broke, still got this shirt. Just saying.
But yeah, they've also canceled GDC and F8 if you're a fan of like Facebook and VR stuff or video games in general. So I'm kind of upset about that. They didn't just merely push these things back. It's not happening this year.
Just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
There's a lot
Check
of
it out later.
companies, I forgot who, it's like they're just pulling back and not appearing at conventions because of everything that's going on. Just
Well,
going
you got to imagine that conventions would be a scary place to go right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
Are you going to
people
kind of
back
like
together.
stereotype anybody you see that looks like? What if they just showed up in doctor cosplay, but you like mistook the mask as like sickness? Like this is zombie apocalypse
They're just being pragmatic, you know.
beta phase.
Erring on the side of caution.
See how well you do surviving a convention and buying stuff from people. I've seen people afraid to pop the air in their.
Well, that's silly.
There are people. who
There's a
are
bunch of silly
afraid.
I
things
don't pop
associated
the
with
air.
it, and
That's
there's a bunch
me.
of like good pragmatic
I'm paranoid.
decisions.
Well, you know what? Paranoid and proud is better than dead.
There's
But
a
you know what?
reason I like Batman. I think like Batman. I think the worst.
Batman's like, don't pop those safety wrappers. That's bad. That China was bottled. That air
That China was bottled.
Yeah, that China in that bull shop. No, that air was bottled in China. Don't do that.
Except for you, Jason Todd, you can.
Yeah. He wasn't doing that to Jason Todd. Let's all face it. Tim Drake's the one we want to see dead now.
Wait, what?
Poor Tim Drake.
Yeah, he
What?
sucks. He's the
He's not
worst
even a
Robin.
Robin anymore, is he?
He's not.
Yeah, I don't
What
know
happened?
He's not even accepted as a Robin.
What? Why? Tim Drake
Well,
was awesome.
Yeah, for anybody bland.
I don't
guess.
understand. Why did they like?
I
cut him out
I
of the
love
Robin?
Tim Drake
Like,
in the older stuff.
why is he?
When he was
When
the
he was
only
Robin.
Robin.
Yeah.
When he was the only Robin.
Why
When
did
he have
when
the
Dick
ghost
Grayson
staff and
was
everything?
like, I'm not going to involve myself anymore. I am Nightwing. And this guy comes along and he's like, I have no loss, no tragedy, no backstory. My dad's kind of crippled. I'm going to be a super great detective, figure out your Batman. And after I'm done doing my homework, I'm going to sneak over to your Batcave and I'm going to dress up in this super sassy Robin outfit with a bow staff. I'm going to heal my bow staff and we're going to go fight some crime, Batman.
I got that first
Like-
issue, Robin #1, and I was so excited when that came out. I was like,
I
yeah.
was too. No, I
Yeah.
mean, like, I get it. When he was the only Robin,
Yeah.
and he was the first Robin
I
to
think he
wear
went up
pants.
against the Joker, and the Joker.
Oh
was-
man, Robin's got pants, and he's not just wearing underwear with elf booties.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It was a
it
90s
cool.
update.
It was cool. It was a 90s update. I get that. But then we had all of these really well-written stories for Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Damian Wayne was introduced.
Well, he was good at
and
Titans
kicks the
Club.
crap out of Tim Drake. And so then it's just like, Tim Drake sucks.
Oh, he really does.
He
They've really
sucks as a
written him that
character.
way.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when he tried
I
to
don't
be
know about
Batman
now.
in the absence of Batman? Like that was
When he wanted to be
pathetic.
when he wanted to be Batman and he dressed up as
He
Batman.
dressed up as Batman,
And then he got the crud kicked out of him
Yeah.
by Jason Todd
And,
as a bad Batman.
Let's put this in
Tim Drake
perspective.
had to come.
What's the perspective we're going into? Because
My
Nightwing can pick up a bow staff.
knowledge of Tim Drake.
Well, you can't enthusiastically promote a man without knowing anything about him.
Well, I'm just going to say it's like
and that Titans book you were talking about, his cape got about 3 feet shorter, to where it was just like a shoulder drape, and that was pretty weird.
no, I was just going to say it's like
Superboy's like, I wear t-shirts and jeans, and Tim Drake's like, I've got a shoulder cape.
Why does he have a cape if it's not like
It should
useful?
be massively
Yeah.
useful, maybe a hood.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
a hood, yeah.
But no, I was just saying
That's
it's like
That's
my,
what they did with Damien.
That's what they did with
yeah.
Although
my
I don't
knowledge
think
of
a hood
him
was
is
good.
from
Have you ever tried to fight with having blinders
Early
on?
2000s.
Yeah, you could just pull it down and like hit you in the
Yeah,
head
yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
early 2000s before is my knowledge of Tim Drake. I don't know like how he's been written in modern times, but it sounds like they've done him major injustice.
Oh yeah. They totally wrote him to be like
Well,
the butt
you know,
of the Bat family.
he never died. He never had any parents that died. He never was trained as an assassin. All he ever did that was worth note was wear pants. And on that note, we'll be
good.
right back with some more debate, discussion, and information on some of your favorite DC properties, to include the Arrowverse. Make sure click like, subscribe, share with your grandmother, and be back with us right after this thrilling commercial break. I hear that they're coming out with a book soon called Heavenscape Presents Gloom. I hear it's excellent.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you read it, you actually elevate to a new level of interactive storytelling. Like that, from what I hear, now this is just what I've heard on the streets, so just hear me out now. But somebody told me that the writer and editor on this book was like 10 times better than J.R. Tolkien.
What about R.R. Martin?
And R.R. Martin.
Really? And
Like,
him?
and him.
What about
We're going to have to come up with initials for the person to sign as a...
what about P.T. Barnum?
And Bailey?
No, just Barnum.
Just Barnum
Just
without
Barnum.
Bailey?
Just
Better.
Barnum, yeah.
Better. Greatest show person.
Okay,
ever.
Barnum and Bailey. How about now?
I don't know. That's really
Okay.
putting it. I mean, that's when you got elephants, you've got
Yeah.
dwarves dancing around. It's hard to compete with elephants. I hear they never forget, and they never forget how to be awesome. They've just got it covered. Elephants are the bomb. They're also the most deadly animal on the planet to any human being.
So that's better then, right?
yeah, that's better. That's
Okay.
better.
The elephants
But
are better.
if you're not quite on elephant level awesome, just below that, check out that book Gloom coming out. I hear it's gonna be spot on. Chapters and chapters of unbelievable just story. The main character, Mud, thrilling.
His name is Mud?
riveting. There's
His
a
name
kid.
is Mud?
His name is Mud. Mud thing. Why is he so dirty all the time? Stop! Collaborate and listen. Mud is back with a brand new invention. He's dirty. Down to get in the scandal. Gonna have a book all about his... Nope, ran out of words. Apparently rapping was not my thing. Born in Memphis, got no soul. This guy. Blast off, and we are back. This is some more turn the page action. We're going to talk about some Arrowverse. A little bit of DC Comics on live TV. Well, not live TV, but at least live action TV. It is something in and of itself. It's successful, I guess you could put it that way. It's unique. I think
it is unique.
I think it's unique in the way that it's on one hand it's really well done,
Well,
and not.
yeah.
It's one of the best guilty pleasures you'll ever
It's a
have.
guilty pleasure. It's not, in my opinion, not well written, acted. It's okay directed. But
Tell us
I
how you
keep
really
watching.
feel, John.
Yeah.
But it was good. Like when season 1 Arrow, the first few episodes when they came out, there was actually some really well done stunts. Some of the sequences they did with the long shot was cool. It's
second
not
season
like
was
something
good.
they never did. The second season they did break some of the better things in life. It's not like things that Daredevil on Netflix didn't
Yeah.
do. It's just that Daredevil on Netflix did it better.
Yeah, I think that
It was a
also
little grittier. It was a little bit better done.
a lot of that has to do with directing how the camera's going to be and choreography and camera choreography tone. And I noticed something about the difference between the different series on the WB, and the quality of these shows seems to be directly tied to,
Greg Berlanti.
I don't know who that is, the budget of the shows.
Greg Berlanti.
Yeah, so and not to really say anything bad about Supergirl, but I believe it's the lowest budgeted show and suffers greatly.
Well, but check it out.
The Flash is the highest budget.
She's got a super symbol on her chest. I mean, she's
Yeah.
got an automatic pull no matter what.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Automatic pull. It's a Superman show. Whether it's Superman or not.
And Superman's
Superman's a side
He's
character.
getting his own show, by the way.
That's amazing that
Yeah.
he's just a side character that's branched out to
And
get
it'll
his own
probably be
show.
a higher budget show than Supergirl, or Supergirl will be canceled.
Well, Supergirl hasn't done very well.
Well,
I really don't think that has to do with the budget. I think that's because of the push of politics in the show.
Oh man, yeah.
See, I don't
it's
watch it
very
that often.
prevalent.
I really noticed it during this past Crisis crossover when they would have so when they did Crisis on Supergirl, it was the Supergirl team, and there was a noticeable drop in quality for that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the Flash team did an episode, it was a higher quality.
Because they get more ratings.
Um,
Flash gets more ratings.
Yeah, so the budget goes there.
Flash
Makes sense.
doesn't really come out and say, here's some politics I'm going to shove in your face really
Yeah.
fast. He just doesn't do it. So, I mean, that show doesn't get as many knocks.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't mind politics in general being play. I don't like heavy-handed politics. I think that's just bad writing. And I don't like bad writing.
Yeah.
I don't mind, having
You're okay with Palpatine's granddaughter coming out and winning the entire Star Wars universe. But
Yeah,
no,
I
not
don't-
bad writing.
bad writing is not good. Having politics and moral decisions and ethical conundrums what make drama interesting.
The difference between politics in your show and ethical conundrums, that's two different things. So let's put it this way. If you want to put politics in a superhero show for me, then take Lex Luthor, make him a bad person but really good at business, and then make him run for president. Why? Because it simulates anything in real life? Maybe, maybe not. Why? Because it's an actual comic book story that's a good story-driven arc? Then yes. That's a good reason to do it. Now, just take something that you think is modern fear-mongering politics of the week and just shoving it into your episode and making it heavy-handed. That's politics.
The
That's not
heavy-handedness I don't like.
that's not an actual ethical conundrum. The only ethical conundrum is whether or not you can put up with people who shove politics into your face. On a
Well, I
daily
mean,
basis.
like you said, the Netflix
One way or
Daredevil did it
another.
better.
Yeah, they did.
Like
do it
even
better.
at that point, I mean, it's because you're talking about Lex. It's like Well,
What did
I
King-
love
yeah.
John Cryer as Lex. He's doing a
He's
fantastic
great.
job.
Oh yeah, but give me
But
Vince,
his material is just
Vince D'Onofrio as the Kingpin.
That
Tell me
was
that John
amazing.
Cryer as Lex Luthor is better than that.
He is not.
Oh
Sorry.
God, no.
But,
All right, but
nowhere
why?
near.
You have a bald, rich businessman who's taking advantage of a situation, a calamity. You have all of the similar character traits, but why was Marvel able to do it better than
he's
DC?
a true character with
He's
depth.
a real character
Yeah.
with depth.
Mhm.
They allow him to grow over time. They give him truth.
He's
in
not a
himself.
cardboard cutout like
He is
bad
not
guy.
just a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a
And-
good guy. He's a hero
Well, he
in his
believes
own right.
himself to be a good guy and he's very
Doing what
Machiavellian.
needs to be
Yeah.
done.
Well, what I was going to say also is just the writing significantly better on the Netflix series. I mean, it's because Lex Luthor is a fantastic character. I love him to death.
Could be.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like he is
Your
in the books.
imagination of what he is and how you fulfill that character for. See, this is what DC was really good at. They're good at giving you symbols. Okay, so here's Superman. He's a symbol. He's the status quo on a chest symbol. He is an alien with these base rate superpowers that can be expanded or decreased based upon what your plot device is. Now, what's great about that, what's great about him being just a primary starter superhero is the fact that you take all of your hopes and dreams. You take what you want him to be and you put it into him. He's your toy that you play with in your own narrative. So with Lex Luthor, same thing. Has he had some good stories? Yes. Has he had
he's
some
had
really
fantastic.
cheesy, horrible stories? Some of the worst. But he's your base rate cardboard cutout supervillain. He's your original starter kit supervillain. So he's what you get to take and emulate your evil concepts into. So that was what DC was great at. They gave you these starter kits for your own superhero ideas. And you got to fill them with your own notions of what you yourself felt was heroic or evil, or what would they do. They're my action figures that I'm taking out. You know, the what was that action figure line they used to have where they could only, I mean, like the Flash.
Superpowers.
Yeah, the superpowers line. You had the Flash. You could turn the thing on his back. His hands would go
That
like
was
that real
Toy
fast.
Biz. That was after
Oh,
Superpowers.
yeah, that's what it is.
That was DC superheroes.
Yeah, I
But,
think
you know-
this what you're talking about might only pertain to comics for very particular reasons, and when it might be the problem that DC has been having translating those symbols into flesh and blood live action characters, it's more difficult than they thought, because if they are true to the comic, right,
Mm-hmm.
then they're cardboard cutouts, and if they're not incorporating that whole idea of projection into it, then they are just cardboard cutouts, and they seem flat compared to Marvel characters, which from the comics are more rounded and more like,
Well, because they gave us a character.
yeah,
They didn't just give me Wolverine. Like, well, you know, at first Wolverine was just presented. He was a background. He was there to be slapped.
There's an
Like,
enemy.
he literally
Okay.
is. I was making a joke with our friend Scott the other day. I said it's funny, you know, reading Marvel comics. If you go back to the beginning, and I love doing it often, just going back to the beginning and reading straight through, because Chris Claremont with the X-Men especially was so slow and story driven. Character arcs, everything was beautifully done with Chris Claremont. But it was almost like reading a D&D game, because it starts out, you have this group, ragtag people put together, you have Wolverine go in, he's like, but he's only rolling so well because his stats are so low. So he is constantly slapped around in all the original stories. And like, it takes time for him to level up to this beast you know him to be in these
Yeah.
days, comic books and everything.
killed them all.
But-
Killed all the X-Men.
but no matter what, when he was first presented as character, everything about him was a characteristic. Everything about him was driven by some story. So when you got him, it wasn't, how would I like to be if I had claws and I was a crazy super killer?
Yeah.
It was, this is Logan, the Wolverine. This is who he is. You either like him or you don't. Whereas like with Clark Kent or Superman, it was cornbread, moral fed Sunday best every single day.
Well, like Superman always does what's right, but the thing
what's
is,
right?
What's right changes from generation to generation, so Superman changes with that.
Like one of your
I see
favorite
what you're saying,
storylines. What's one of your favorite Superman storylines?
Death and Return of Superman.
Well, that's a good one, but I was going to go for your Red Sun story arc.
Well, I mean, that's
Because what is right?
Elseworlds.
True, but what's right with him in that book? He still supports truth, justice in the Russian way. He still supports.
It's all
what's
subjective
right.
to where he
It's subjective.
goes. That's the thing. It's like I've been thinking this entire time while you're talking and also listening. It's kind of an interesting perspective to think about that, because that's like there's nothing about all the Marvel characters and stuff like that. And I was like, holy crap, you're right. It's because all the DC characters, most of them, it's like, all right, I like Batman. But which version of Batman do you like? Him from this point in time, not from that point in time. Whereas Wolverine has been Wolverine throughout the entire thing, like you said.
Well, he's
So it has
evolved over
Cyclops and
time.
stuff like that. It's like
Layers.
they've all just layers, and they've had all these different stories, but it's still the same freaking character. All these things still happened.
Yeah, you can see that it's a guy who had something happen to him.
Yeah.
Whereas with Superman, it's like, well,
Which continuity are you
which
going with?
continuity you in? Death and Return of Superman was one of my favorite storylines. Why? Because they killed Superman.
Yeah.
And they gave us new storylines. They gave us new characters, like who?
World Without Superman was one of the most fantastic stories they've
Well,
ever
Funeral
done.
for a Friend was a really good story.
Just seeing how it affected everything, because
Everybody talking about him, the messianic story arc of it. But Funeral for a Friend was a good story.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about some of the things that I always liked Connor,
Yeah.
Kent, whatever they want to call him at certain points, but I liked the Superboy, not because he was just 1990s punk at the time with his leather jacket and his one earring and his skateboard cut, but mostly because he was Superman without the Superman. He was the better story of what you
He's
could
more
do with this
interesting.
alien. He was more interesting. He was a clone.
Yeah.
So
It was much better than Superboy from before.
right. No, that Superboy sucked. And the fact that Lex Luthor was just his best friend on a farm, who burned his hair out. Like so much of it was just stupid. It was just really stupid, childish. But I mean, like that's the thing is they had to go. I guess they were the forerunners. They had to go through all the storylines that nobody would want
Which,
to read.
that's funny you speak of. It's, wow. So, brings me back full circle.
Well, even
to the
Legion of
No,
Superheroes.
I was going to say, it brings me back full circle to the Arrowverse due to Smallville, because it makes me realize that Clark Kent, they didn't borrow from Superman, they borrowed from Superboy. Because Lex had his hair burnt out from the
Oh
meteor
no,
shower.
yeah. Smallville was entirely based on the whole Superboy comics, and it was also based on the old
So he was
Superboy
never
TV
Superman.
show
Yeah, I was gonna
because
mention
it
that.
was actually already
That was
happened.
from the 90s, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just redid it,
Yeah.
and they put a better looking Clark Kent in there, and they never put him in tights.
Yeah, they decided
That was the
never to
only
put him in
difference.
tights.
Yeah, it's. Did
Which I
you
think
know
is a
that
good
there were
decision.
Did you know that there were two Superboys in the original?
In the
Those-
original series?
In the original series, yeah. There's John Hames Newton, and then Gerard
It
Christie.
didn't last very long, to my recollection.
4 seasons.
Was it four
There was
seasons,
an old show. I'm gonna have to
Bizarro
remember
was
this.
on there, which
Was
was
he?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Bizarro that was cut from what is it?
Superman 4.
4?
Let's save that for another episode.
Okay.
Superman 4 was still better than Superman 3.
Let's save this for another episode.
Superman 3.
We still haven't had a Superman
the
episode.
Richard
I
Pryor,
think
right?
that yes, it was. It was horrible.
I
The
love
freaking
Richard Pryor.
computer rounding cents off the dollar. The whole theme for Office Space. It was Superman 3.
But
Superman 3 was just dumb. It
Okay.
was so dumb. But like, it was a good movie if it wasn't a Superman movie.
They
If it had
scared
just
me.
been a John Pryor movie, would have been hilarious.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
And
I loved Richard Pryor. Just hated Superman in it.
and
We
Which
still
is
haven't
a-
had a Superman episode. We needed to do that, but it's a point of contention because it's
we're
like
waiting until there's
I'm
good
going to
news
yell
about
at you
Superman.
about your religion. You know, Like if you came to me and said, "Hey, guess what, Tony? I'm Christian." I'm like, "Well, I don't really follow religion, but I practice Buddhism." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm Southern Baptist." It's like, "Oh no, we're gonna have a big conversation about this." Like that's a Superman episode. It's so strongly woven into.
Who is your Superman? Just for starters. Now, this will be the lead into the next episode we do on Superman. Who is your Superman?
Christopher Reeves.
Reeve. We've already discussed that.
Christopher Reeves.
Superman.
Superman.
Okay. I like that save.
His ownership.
Yeah. and you, sir?
Oh, y'all are gonna hate me.
I'm a Reeve boy.
No, he's a
myself.
Ralph guy.
I'm a Reeve.
I think he's a
No.
Ralph guy.
Henry Cavill.
Oh, he did
He's
good.
alright.
Nobody's gonna
He's
hate
not
you for
my
that.
Superman.
People would hate you for saying like
Yeah.
Dean Cain.
Why? Dean Cain was freaking
So,
awesome.
Oh, I guess he's your.
He's my wife's favorite.
Who's your worst Superman?
The worst Superman?
Yeah.
George Reeve.
George Reeve.
Z-
Kirk Allen.
Who?
Exactly.
Who's my worst?
Who is
Just
your
tell me
worst?
who my worst is.
Kirk Allen.
Okay, that's good.
And
Give us the
more on
first
Kirk
Superman.
Allen when we come back from this exciting commercial break. Go ahead, Google Kirk Allen. We'll do it for you. We'll tell you all about it. And
You
our
don't have
technical
to.
support
I know.
will put up a picture for you. Just stay tuned. We'll answer the question. Stay away from Wikipedia. They lie. And go. Have you ever thought to yourself that everything just seems bland, dreary? Have you ever realized that maybe your life sucks? It's like watching one Michael B. Jordan movie after another. You think to yourself, this can't be all there is to life. Well, you're right. That's not all there is to life. There's also Turn the Page. Tune in with us and we'll give you all of the details of how we feel about commercial properties. Be it video games, comic books, movies, action figures, or even just actors that we dislike. We don't bash everything, but when we do, we mean it. So don't forget to tune in every other week on the given day that we download our videos and check out Turn the Page. Get on our Facebook, like us there. I'm Tony Stevens. You can just get on my page and then get to it from there. Or just type it into Google. Or just type it into other search bars. Do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, do what I want you to do, which is to click like, subscribe, and share with your grandmother. Because all of these women sitting lonely in their golden girls years at the retirement homes with nothing to do need to be watching Turn the Page.
Yes.
Get us where we need to be. And if you're in a foreign country, we love you for watching us and listening to our other
Absolutely.
properties on Saturday Night Gaming. So check that out as well if you like dwarves, if you like Star Wars, if you like Marvel Comics, if you like DC Comics, if you like made-up things. And look out for any published materials that will be coming out for the next year. I'll let you know on the next commercial when that's going to be.
Duh.
One.
And we are back again. That's right. Almost like clockwork. We come back not once, not twice, but thrice in one episode to continue talking to you about all the thrilling subjects that we think will inspire your minds. Now, back to the Arrowverse.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it's the anchor of what I'm supposed to talk about, being the star power here. Sex Appeal likes to direct us towards more artsy-fartsy things, and you like to take us back into the realm of what hope can be for some of these actors and characterizations of things.
Well, I will say that I am looking forward to the Superman Arrowverse show. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, I mean, hopefully it's...
Hopefully, but I mean, the guy, he's done okay. It's going to be a show. It's going to have way too many episodes per season. They're not going to be able to, like, fill it with, like, a complete...
Well, he's
arc.
going to have... They're going to have two sons.
Yeah, they have two kids in that.
And they're teenagers.
Teenagers. I didn't know that.
So we're...
Yeah.
So is this like Rebirth Superman?
Do they have
Like,
superpowers?
One of his
I
sons,
guess.
John?
Yeah, one of them is John.
See, hanging out with a kid from down the block that's a little bit more of a punk named Damien. They get into trouble together. Well, see, it would have been interesting then.
If it had been Damien, it would have been great. But no, of course not. They're not going to do that.
See, give Damian Wayne a show.
Oh yeah, that would be a success.
Well, see, that's how you bring Batman in.
Now, hold on a second, because we all understand that DC Comics and their whole publishing center is at stake at this point. They've already said that if the 5G relaunch, the Generation 5...
They didn't say that. That was an unfounded rumor.
Unfounded. As in, somebody probably said it, and then everybody was like, ooh, no, don't say that.
And then
that's
the deal
bad.
was cut loose.
So who owns like DC Comics? Warner Brothers, right?
AT&T.
AT&T.
They
They own Warner
They own
Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
And Jim Lee is now the head publisher, which is probably not a good thing.
He's a pretty successful name to put on anything.
Yeah, but business sense, not so much. But I'm not going to dwell on that.
New 52 was a good idea. It sold a lot of comics.
What do you think that DC could do right now that would save it from all of this?
Team wipe.
Wait, what?
A team wipe.
Team wipe. What? Explain.
Editorial, publishers, everyone, just a whole team
Fire
wipe.
everybody.
Oh, so you mean
Get some...
drain the swamp?
Yeah, we need some new blood. We need people we need new ideas. We don't need...
Hire Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah. Something like that. It's like we need, someone that can actually make good stories and stuff like that. We need more people like Greg.
Just remove some of the rules. Just take away, because like a lot of times...
We need more Scott Snyders. We need more
Scott
Greg
Snyder
Capullo.
and Greg Capullo went in there. They did a really good job
Gail
because
Simone is
they
a
were
great
allowed
writer.
to
Let her do some stuff.
a good job. But if you don't allow the writers to do a good job because it's run by a bunch of bureaucrats that say don't or do this because we think that this is going to compel us into making money. Stop making money, start making good stories, and just go with it.
How about stop ripping off Marvel for one and being behind? I swear it's like DC's becoming the Apple of the comic world because Marvel's like Android, DC's like Apple. Marvel's already done it, and now DC is going. I mean, like the 5G thing, it's just the Marvel heroes now.
Yeah,
I mean
they compete with each other, and I'll say that.
DC's.
Marvel doesn't hold
Marvel
their
zombies.
characters at as high of a pedestal ratio, I think. So, like, with DC, it's like, well, that's Superman. You really can't do that to
mess
him.
with the symbol.
You can't do that to him.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, with Cyclops, it's like, yeah, sure, make him a horrible person. We'll just save him later on down the line, maybe. We'll change some time. It's the X-Men. Time travel. Sure, why not? They don't care. There's a reverence to it.
Do you think that would work?
I don't mean to harp on DC too much. It's just the fact that
they made him like...
I no longer
I think that
am
would
interested
be cool.
in reading their books now.
I mean, really, what
you just
about
have to
nothing
find
drastic.
a book that you like of them. There are
Except for Capullo. He does
so
a good
many
job,
series.
and Gail Simone, things she writes is really good too.
Well, Greg Capullo just draws.
Not Greg Capullo, excuse me, Scott Snyder.
Scott Snyder does a good job. But, I mean, almost anybody can take a Bat book and do well with a Bat book because you're going to have something that people want to read. And you can
Even Tom King.
Well, you can go dark with it. You can go irreverent with Batman. You're allowed to make Batman bad. You're allowed
Jeff
to
Johns,
make him
he's
want to
really
kill
good.
everybody. Jeff Johns is okay. He did most of his really good work in the Green Lantern.
Yeah, his Green Lantern stuff was phenomenal.
But that was because there was a character you had there that had already been treated with irreverence.
Also, like,
so with
both those
Superman's
characters
your
are
real
human.
challenge.
Yeah.
Superman's your challenge. Who can come in and write Superman to a degree? Calm down, it's okay. Don't get too fidgety over it. He's earthquaking us.
I think I know how to do this.
Just
Sorry.
shaking the world.
Like, you need to write a good
He's like,
story.
I drank some coffee and vaped,
Coffee,
and you've insulted my Superman. I will crush you all.
Like, in the few seconds that I've sat here and listened to this, I think I know how to write a good
Tell me
Superman.
how you would attack a Superman.
This is how I would
story.
do it. So, like with the ideas that we've gone before, where Superman's a symbol. He can only be this one thing. How do you write a good Superman story with basically such a boring character that can't change? Like, that is the opposite of a good story.
There is no arc.
There's no arc. So, Superman...
He's the end of a quest.
Well, Superman is a plot point. He is not a character in your Superman series. You have the main plot arcs be the people around him. You know, and what Superman's involved in affects them in a human, personal way and changes them. Superman himself doesn't change. This is a problem that Doctor Who had for a while when it started making the character, the Doctor, have his own arcs.
Works for One Punch Man.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
And they got away from the human aspect of it, and they start focusing on that character, which was never meant to be the center of the show in that way. I thought for a while that was a mistake, that the show pivots around this. He is like he is the setting, you know, that,
Like an axis.
that happens to normal people, and that's where the story is created from. So, like, Superman happens to people, right? He doesn't change. Like, he is the force that changes things. And that change is the story.
So, like, rewrite the old comic title, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
Basically, but don't call it that. Just call it Superman.
Right, that was a horrible title
Yeah.
for a book, but I'm just saying, Superman
That'd be good.
side characters.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I
Well, he could
liked.
be a main character.
Well,
You wanna
Funeral
know
for a
something crazy,
Friend
though,
was
John?
really good because of that fact. Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen,
It's human
Barry
emotion
White
and
were written.
conflict that is interesting to humans. So every good story is based around those ideas.
But what's crazy is that has been done with One Punch Man. If you've watched One Punch Man or read it, well, yes, Saitama's a main character. It primarily focuses on all the side characters.
Yeah. And
Well,
that's
that's the majority of
this
Japanese
is the formula
narratives.
that a character like Superman has to follow because
That'd be
he can't
really good.
change.
Right.
You know, like
Well, see, the change that Superman can go through already happened in order for him to be Superman.
yeah, he's already had.
So the heroic arc that is Superman, the Hercules tale that is Superman, it comes from Clark Kent in Kansas becoming Superman in Metropolis. But he had to go through all of the learning process. He had to go find the Kryptonian crystal to get the Fortress of Solitude, to learn from his father and all of the recorded information. That heroic quest happened,
yeah,
and it's over.
it's over.
And that's why Superman, as the stationary character at the end result, the most interesting thing that ever happened to him after that was the death, because that's the end of that cycle, his death. And they did lose a lot of their sales after bringing him back. So the death was a good point that they could have made and left alone. Like, had he been dead and other people had to carry the title, or other people tried to live up to that
Introduce
heroic
Superman.
It would
title,
have been great
that would have been cool.
if they would have done that and let Shazam take
Nope.
that role.
No, I think that, I mean,
Not become Superman, I just mean...
What if he grew up like Shazam?
Shazam grew up.
Grew
finally.
up and then took the mantle.
Yeah, that would have been a bad decision, though, because of all of the legal ramifications that
Well-
would come after that. You would have, like, totally tanked your whole comic.
No. I don't
titles.
mean like then. I'm talking about like if that were to happen now. I mean that would be good, like for Shazam to do that. Because I mean, right now with like the Snyderverse and all that other stuff and the DCEU,
I mean, the Green
But
I think
Lantern.
realistically-
Shazam might be.
Realistically,
taking
you just have
Superman's place.
a guy who's wearing a cape and tie. He's Superman. That's the whole reason that he was a legal problem in the first place. What I'm saying is you don't even have to have a guy who is your carbon copy, flight, super strength, super hearing, blah 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 blah, can transform from one person to another, blah blah blah. I'm saying that you have characters who have to live up to kind of like what they tried to do in the Snyder movie, where it's like you have Batman.
Yeah.
Batman has to be a better Batman because of him trying to live up to this mantle. Not that they necessarily have to come through into the title
I see what you're saying now.
and say, I'm Superman, or I'm exactly like Superman, so therefore I have to be the new Superman. It's the impact. So Funeral for a Friend, but extended into an ongoing story. It's just something that happened to them. This is how it has affected their lives. This is the living legacy of a character such as this. And later on, if you want to tell little mini stories or story arcs that aren't within continuity, but just like homages to this old character story, do so. But ultimately, a lot of these characters only have so much story to tell before you're looking at the book and you're like, why do I read this? I mean, it's repetitive. It's really repetitive. And I hate to say that sort of
Well, it's
stuff.
because the arcs kind of go up and then they go back and they loop around.
And they come back around. See, like, some of the most fun stuff is to take that original character and let him have an ending.
Or like completely reimagine him and he basically becomes a new character with a new arc.
Right. Well, or just create a new character.
Yeah. Well, like Robin.
Screw it, man. Like, how many times has Robin existed? He's been Dick Grayson. He's been Jason Todd. He's
Damien.
been Tim Drake. I know you forgot him, but he existed.
Kerry Kelly.
He wore pants.
Stephanie Brown.
Or the Joker. You know,
All of these
there's
things
so many
that they've had
incarnations
so
of
many
the Joker.
incarnations of.
But
But
there might actually be more than one Joker. You know,
right, but
that's interesting.
think about it. Robin, more successful than all his other characters because he's allowed to be.
And yet he's
other
not in the
people.
Arrow. Well, actually, no, he is in the Arrowverse now because of the Titans being a different alternate Earth.
Wait, do they have?
Yeah, but that's not really an Arrowverse. That's
Who's that?
just
Is that?
DC.
Titans, DC.
Is that Tim Drake?
No, God, no, it's
It's
Dick Grayson.
Oh, Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson
But
and
he's
Jason
Nightwing
Todd
now.
are
Yeah.
the Robins in that.
Jason Todd's in that.
Yeah, he's the Robin in that.
Oh,
Yeah, he's Robin right now.
So you have the potential to see a Red Hood come out of him.
cool. Is the Joker in this?
Okay, so this is how it goes. If you look remotely like our franchise's best-selling character or his antithesis, we are not going to directly promote you or implicate you in any movies.
And this is the problem with DC.
So if you're the Joker, we won't put you on a TV show played by anyone, but we'll put you in a really artsy movie and then make sure that you don't show up in a movie with a side character based on you. If you're Batman, we won't let you show up as Batman, but you can be Bruce Wayne, but we'll have a new Batman who looks kind of like Daredevil driving the Winchester's car. Cool? Cool. Alright, cool. You know, like, it's really ridiculous. Like, just make a few different iterations of your character. Don't get so stupid about it. Just like, you want to be the TV series version of our Batman? Cool. You going to be this movie's Joker? Cool. Whatever.
Yeah, like
That's
so.
the way
Do
it
they
should
think
be.
that would like if they actually put the Joker or
they're-
Batman in the show, would it take away from the theatrical?
The whole thing
I don't think
is,
Why
I
don't
think
they
it
do
would
it?
play
they
it
think
up.
the audiences would get confused.
Yeah, people
I
are
think-
dumb. You probably also think that the Joker that was portrayed in the old Adam West show is the same exact Joker that you saw, even though you know Heath Ledger died and also wasn't born yet. That Joker's the same one. I didn't mean to confuse you. Mark Hamill's Star Wars? Oh no, he was the Joker's voice. Like, we understand they're actors. We understand these are movies, and we understand that most of the time all you have is stories. So if you have a character and the best story arc that they exist within, like Jason Todd, best story arc is what? The Joker beating him to death with a crowbar. So give us a Joker and let him kill Jason Todd.
I feel like TV shows have the potential to portray comic book storylines better than movies, and they're really missing an opportunity.
They are.
They are, especially CW stuff, man. Crisis, while I enjoyed it, could have been done so much better. So much better. If they would have allowed them the proper tools.
Well, if there were like, say 10 episode tight well scripted, well written, well directed episodes instead of 22 episodes
With a singular directive focus.
with a single
Not different directors, different casts.
piecemeal writing. And really that's the problem. There's like
They
all
should
those
have just
things
made
plus filler.
instead of a crossover, it should have been
Plus filler.
Yeah.
I hate filler.
what it should have been. They should have made a Crisis on Infinite Earths miniseries,
Yes.
like a 10-part miniseries. They can just focus on one director, one vision.
But like the thing is, to do it our way potentially would not generate as much money. The way they're doing it.
But to lose base would also not generate as much money.
That's true.
Because Marvel's shown that if they do it the way that we're saying to do it, generates bukus of money. And Disney reaps the benefits, Marvel Studios reaps the benefits, Netflix for a while reaped the benefits, now Disney Plus reaps the benefits.
If they did a series like I described, or like a series of series for their streaming network, I think they'd be much more successful. Like, if they were, but it's too late now.
Well, they have. That's the thing is that DC has a streaming network.
Yeah.
Those Titan shows are streaming
But they won't
shows.
put Batman on it or the Joker.
But they won't do
That's
what
the
they
problem.
can do with
Yeah.
it. So
not
that's the
going
whole
full
thing
out.
is that they just misunderstand what they can and can't do with their own properties.
Yep.
And that's where they should really correct themselves. Kind of like what Disney did with the Star Wars franchise and made its best installment yet out of a show not even based on Skywalkers, but a random Mandalorian running around with a baby version of an alien character we all knew and loved. So DC, wake up, get your head out of the sand, stop not using your characters that you know will make you money, stop not portraying the stories that you know are well received,
Please.
and, wake up. This is like when Fox had the X-Men stories and decided not to do them. Figure it out. And until that time, keep watching our shows so that you can figure out what it is your fans actually want to see and not the producers who never read a comic book in their life. Thank you. We love you. Continue to like and subscribe to our show. And until next time.
I beat the same.
In a long and lonely desert east of Nairobi, there were some pyramids standing there. Who knows what formation they were in? Then a hero named Hydro walked in and he said, "Here I am in the sand again. Here I am up on the pyramid. There's some light near. I don't know where it
We shall
is,
pack a pants.
but here I am. Turn the page. Take it, Danny. Bum, dum, tsh, dum, 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 tsh. Unless we're SNG, cause it's Saturday. Playing a game, got dice on the table. Scott's gonna tell you if you're able. Your character dies, gotta re-roll. That's how it goes when you play with us. It's SNG on Saturday. Watch Turn the Page. You must do it. Watch it. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Drink coffee, 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 and watch Turn the Page.